Every culture, every tradition has a story for the big question. Where did we all come from? In Islamic theology, that story kicks off with Adam. But this isn't just a tale about the first guy. It's a deep dive into the purpose, the potential, and the very nature of all of us. So let's get into this foundational story together.
All right, so we're going to break this down into 4 key parts. First up, how Adam was literally made from clay. Then we'll get into the very first command, and trust me, there's drama. After that, we'll figure out what makes humanity so special. What's our unique honor? And finally, we'll see how he kicked off this whole prophetic legacy for everyone who came after.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, the physical creation of the first human. And this is way more than just a biology lesson. It's absolutely packed with symbolism. So how does the Islamic tradition actually tell this story? What's the play-by-play? Well, it's not just a single event. It's laid out as a process. And it's a process that's trying to tell us something really deep about who we are. It's described in 3 really fascinating steps. First, get this. A handful of dust is gathered from all over the planet, like literally from everywhere. Then that dust gets mixed with water and shaped into a human form. And then comes the most incredible part. The divine spirit is breathed into this clay figure, and bam, it comes to life. And here's a detail that's just so profound. That dust, it wasn't all one color. It was a mix, white, red, black, and yellow. And this is seen as the very origin of all human diversity. It's like from the very first moment, all of our different backgrounds and ethnicities were baked right into the recipe of humanity. How cool is that? This moment of creation also tells us something about our own personalities. There's this story that as the spirit was flowing through Adam's body, he caught a glimpse of the fruits of paradise. And before the spirit even got down to his legs, he tried to jump up and grab them. It's this little anecdote that's seen as a perfect illustration of what the Quran says man is created of haste. It's like that impatience, that eagerness is just part of our DNA. Okay, so Adam is created, he's alive, and now the stage is set for the first great test in all of creation. And this isn't just some simple instruction. No, this is a huge moment that's going to set up the cosmic dynamics for all time. So what was this test all about? At its heart, it was a test of obedience, yeah? But also humility. It was about recognizing divine wisdom over your own judgment. So imagine this. The command comes directly from God to all the angels. Once Adam's form was perfected and animated with life, they were to prostrate before him. I mean, what an incredible honor for this brand new being. And the reaction to this command? It split the cosmos in 2. On one side, you have the angels. Perfect obedience. They all prostrated, every single one of them. But on the other side, there was one being, Iblis. You might know him as Satan, who flat out refused. And that single act of defiance, right there, is what kicks off the timeless battle between humility and arrogance. Now, it's really, really important to understand what this prostration was about. This was not an act of worship. In Islam, worship is for God and God alone, period. This was a command from God to show respect. It was a gesture of honor for this new creation that he had just made. So why did he refuse? What was his big reason? When God asks him, Iblis's excuse is just pure arrogance. He says, I am better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay. It's this flawed, prideful logic, and the consequence? It was swift and severe. Get out of here, you are an outcast, a cursed one. And that's the moment that seals his fate. This one act of disobedience defines Iblis forever. His whole identity becomes pride, jealousy, and this messed up reasoning where he puts his own judgment above God's. And from that point on, he is humanity's sworn enemy. Okay, so this whole situation brings up a really big question, right? We've seen the incredible honor given to Adam, but we haven't really dug into the why. What was it about this creature made of clay that made him so special, especially when even the angels knew humanity had the potential to mess things up? Yeah, it's a fascinating paradox. The sources actually say that the angels themselves could see the future. They knew that humanity would cause trouble and even shed blood on Earth. So why would God give this, let's be honest, flawed creation such a high-ranking position? And you know what? The angels actually asked God this question directly. It wasn't a challenge, it was a genuine question. They saw this potential for chaos, and they just wanted to understand the wisdom behind this decision. The answer is just
So powerful. Humanity's honor doesn't come from being perfect, because we're clearly not. It comes from something else, a unique gift, a special capacity that was given only to us. And here it is. This is the secret sauce. The Quran says, "And he taught Adam all the names." What does that mean? It wasn't just learning a list of words. It was the ability to know things, to categorize, to understand the very nature of everything in creation. It was the gift of knowledge, the gift of intellect itself.
So, when you put it all together, you see why Adam, and by extension all of us, have this unique status. I mean, think about it. Created directly by God's own hands, brought to life by the divine spirit, given the gift of knowledge that even the angels didn't have, honored by their prostration, and then appointed as a steward, a vicegerent on earth. That's a pretty incredible resume. And that brings us to our last point. Adam's story doesn't just end with his creation and this big test. His life actually lays the groundwork for the entire human story, including the long line of divine guidance that was to come. This is so crucial to understand. In the Islamic tradition, Adam isn't just the first man. He's also the very first prophet. He got guidance straight from God and was responsible for teaching his children and their children, setting up the whole model of prophecy that would continue for thousands of years.
And one of the very first things he established was the greeting of peace. The story goes that when he first came to life, he sneezed. God then told him to go and greet a group of angels nearby. Their reply back to him was, "Peace be upon you and the mercy and blessings of Allah." And then God basically said, "That's it. That's the greeting for you and all of your descendants." A phrase that billions of people still use every single day.
So Adam's role as the first link in this chain is absolutely foundational. You see this verse in the Quran that talks about a covenant taken from all the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus. And while Adam isn't named in this specific line, Islamic tradition is crystal clear. He's the one who started it all. He set the stage for every prophet who came after him.
And to wrap this all up, let's think about a really fascinating comparison the Quran makes. It says that the likeness of Jesus in God's eyes is like the likeness of Adam. Now, think about that. Adam had no mother and no father. He was created from dust. Jesus had a mother, but no father. The logic here is pretty powerful. If you can accept the first, more incredible miracle of creating a person from nothing, then isn't the second one just as possible for the same creator? So it leaves us with this final thought to chew on. How does understanding one extraordinary event shape our perception of another?